was trying to sink them, so he commanded the men to pull the boats towards the shore. On the island, Matsu told Tahamaru that they could hardly defeat the beast inside the water and suggested that they come up with a better plan. Later that evening, he suggested that they throw explosives into the monster's mouth, saying that it would definitely blow it to smithereens. However, Tahamaru was unwilling to lose his men and said that he would come up with a better plan. Just then, he spotted something in the distance, and Hyogo raised him higher so that he would see better. At that moment, he discovered the perfect plan, and was certain that the monster was as good as dead. So the following day, the people began cutting wood and digging a new path around the island, and eventually created a wooden gate to seal all the water. When they were done, they decided to lure the monster with a boat before sealing it outside. At Tahamaru's command, the villagers cut off the ropes, opening up the sluice, and the lake flowed into another area, leaving the beast exposed. As they prepared to slay it, the beast began roaring, but Tahamaru charged at it with his men, and dodged its claw before splitting its leg. As Hyogo sliced another, Matsu fired arrows at it, and eventually nailed its head, weakening the monster. At this realization, the villagers began cheering, and Tahamaru sliced its body, so they began throwing stones at the beast. However, as Tahamaru tried to end it, the crab threw a rock at the gate, and he realized they were about to lose their advantage. So he directed the men to protect the gate, but the beast threw another rock that caused the water to start gushing. Determined to fight anyway, Tahamaru stabbed his sword into the ground, but the water carried away the villagers. Luckily, Hyogo managed to save them before they were eaten, and threw one of them to the island, before tossing the others. With the monster nearly devouring him, Tahamaru tried going for his rescue, but Hyakimaru rushed out of nowhere, and slayed the monster instantly before he slashed it. As Tahamaru wondered who killed it first, his men arrived, and pulled him onto their boat. Just as they rowed away, he noticed Hyakimaru, and wondered just how powerful he must be to slay the monster. Later on the island, Tahamaru demanded to know who Hyakimaru was, but Dororo told him to be grateful that they managed to save their asses, so he thanked him, but wondered why Hyakimaru was only staring at him. Dororo told him that he was blind, and said that he could only see with his soul, but she demanded their broke asses pay up for saving them, so Tahamaru gave her some silver coins. As Dororo wondered how they could find the nearby village they've been looking for, Tahamaru pointed towards his village. However, as they began heading towards the village, Hyakimaru remembered his soul, and wondered if he had ever met him before. Inside the village, as a seer noticed them, she began screaming that the demon child has arrived to destroy them all, before running away. At the same time, Dororo realized the town was very peaceful, and noticed that everyone was happy. At that moment, he saw Mooney in the crowd, and wondered how he managed to find this village. A few minutes later, as they sat at a stream, Mooney revealed that the statue of the demons were inside Dago's temple, and noticed that Hyakimaru's soul was tainted with the presence of demons, so he realized that he had been killing humans. As he began to leave, he warned Dororo to be careful, realizing the demon inside him may completely take over him. Meanwhile, at Dago's palace, Matsu told him that they were saved by a mysterious man in prostheses, and said that he travels across villages looking for demons to slay. Just as he revealed his name, Mina realized he was actually their son, and was overwhelmed by the discovery. On the other hand, Dororo and Hyakimaru began leaving the village, hoping to find the monster that was terrorizing the villagers. As they noticed the tall wall before them, Hyakimaru sensed the presence of a demon around it, and said that it was really powerful. Just then, a boy appeared before them, nearly scaring the shit out of Dororo, and began saying that they would be killed if they tried to cross to the other side. As they noticed the Asakura soldiers, a neighboring clan who were at war with the Ishikawa clan, the boy revealed that they would shoot them once they tried to cross over to their land. However, Dororo was determined not to leave, and told him that they came to slay Banman, the powerful monster that was terrorizing the area. Later that day, as the boy, Sukuroku, began to make soup, he revealed that this site used to be his home before the wall was built. They had stopped him from returning home, and said that the territory now belongs to the Asakura clan. However, he was bent on crossing to the other side, and said that he intends to reunite with his family. So Dororo offered to help him, and said that they would sneak him in at night. But he told him that demons always surround the area, and would devour everyone in sight. Even so, Dororo was not afraid, and said that her demon-slaying buddy would take care of the monster. At Dago's palace, Mina wondered where he was heading to, afraid that he intends to kill Hyakimaru to save his worthless village. She told him that he was being punished for sacrificing his own son 16 years ago, but Dago thought none of it matters, and decided to leave anyway. That night, as the Asakura soldiers left their post, the boys began hearing noises from the monsters. Before their eyes, a flaming demon descended from the sky, and they thought it was a fox. Sukeroku revealed that it was the bandman monster that was terrorizing everyone in the area. And at that moment, over a dozen flames appeared before them and transformed into foxes. As a demon jumped at Hayakimaru, he slashed it at once and began slashing the other demons. However, the lead fox summoned the others, and more spirits appeared in the sky, flying towards Hayakimaru at the same time. As he slashed them, another demon bruised his face, so Dororo began throwing rocks from the side, causing them to vanish, and Hayakimaru slayed more of them. Realizing his opportunity, Sukeroku began running to the other side, but Dororo thought it was too dangerous. As he tried pursuing him, a demon narrowly missed him, but as it returned to devour him, Hayakimaru rushed in and killed it instantly. So Dororo hurried away, and the demons merged into a 10-tailed fox. As he dodged fireballs, the fox managed to pin him to the ground. Just as it tried to devour him, he kicked it away and slashed it, before a bunch of arrows scared it off, causing it to disappear. Inside the village, Tahamaru began looking for Hayakimaru, thinking he would help him to discover his family's secret, but noticed the seer. As she spotted him, she began to freak out like a useless nutcase, saying that the demon child has returned to slay Daigo. As he demanded to know what she meant, she told him that it was the curse of demons, and that the cursed child has returned to curse Daigo and the village. At the same time, Dororo was screaming for Sukeroku in the forest, but soon realized that he has been captured by the soldiers. At the wall, Hayakimaru realized that an army was before him, and sensed the power of the demons inside Daigo's soul. As he asked who he was, one of the men began calling him a useless moron for speaking directly to Daigo. In an instant, Hayakimaru knocked their torches and flashed to feel Daigo's soul. As Daigo realized that he was truly his cursed son, he tried to strike him, but he jumped away immediately. As he wondered how he managed to survive on his own, he called him a half-born demon child and commanded his men to eliminate him. So they launched arrows immediately, but he escaped to the other side and the men pursued him. Inside the forest, as he hid on a tree, he wondered what Daigo's words meant and realized he must see him again. On the other hand, as Dororo woke up inside a cell, she realized that she was now a prisoner for the Asakura clan. As she noticed Sukeroku, she wondered if he found his village, but he told her that his home has been destroyed and that even his family were all probably dead. Hoping to inspire him, Dororo began telling him that they could travel around the world together, but a prisoner said that they would be safer if they could escape to Daigo's territory. He said that the goddess of mercy was protecting their land, and that the demon was keeping the Asakura clan from going beyond the Banman wall. At that moment, Dororo noticed his crest, and realized that Hayakimaru has the same symbol on his pouch, so the man revealed that it was the crest of Daigo's clan. Just then, she noticed the opening inside the cell, and thought it would probably lead them outside. However, when she suggested that they escape together, Sukeroku told her that he was too afraid, and the prisoner said they could never escape. Even so, Dororo was determined to survive, and promised to return for Sukeroku's rescue. So she began climbing up the rocks, but a guard spotted her and immediately called for backup. However, as one of the guards tried to fire an arrow at her, Sukeroku managed to stop him, and the arrows lost their aim as he screamed at her to escape. As she made it outside, she slipped down the rocks and fell into a stream. Meanwhile, at Daigo's palace, Tahamaru arrived home and demanded to know why Mina and his father fed Hayakimaru to the demons, but the memory of it broke her heart. As Tahamaru said that she was useless for abandoning her own son, Daigo appeared at that moment, saying that it was the only way to save their village from the wars and famine that destroyed his people. Just then, they were warned about an intruder and discovered that he was Hayakimaru. As he noticed their souls, he realized they were probably his family and managed to block the soldiers' arrows. However, as they launched new arrows, he began running away, and Daigo commanded his men to kill him. Hearing his words, Tahamaru tried saying that Hayakimaru should be spared, seeing as he was his brother. But Daigo told him to get his empty brains out of his ass and said that Hayakimaru's survival would destroy their entire village. Inside the forest, Hayakimaru noticed Dororo as she came out of the bushes, and she told him that Sukeroku would soon be executed. At the same time, an Asakura soldier told the prisoners that they have declared war on the Ishikawa clan, as they thought the demon protecting their territory has been driven away, and said that executing them would be their declaration of war. At the village, Tahamaru and his men began making their way to the temple, and as they arrived, they noticed all the broken statues and realized that their seal with the demons would be destroyed soon. At that moment, a powerful wind began blowing them and eventually pushed them outside the temple. This triggered Tahamaru to take sides with the demons, as he realized that saving his village was the most important thing to him. Inside the forest, as Dororo discovered that Hayakimaru's family were the lords of the village, she began saying that they would be offered a VIP treat once they visit the palace, and Hayakimaru was hoping to see his mother again. At the Banman Wall, the Asakura soldiers launched arrows to eliminate the prisoners, but Sukeroku managed to survive. Immediately, the Ishikawa soldiers charged at them, and Dororo spotted the battle from the forest. Before they knew it, spirit flames began appearing, so Hayakimaru began slashing them as he rushed towards the battle. On the battlefield, a demon devoured a soldier, so the Asakura clan began running off, realizing they could not win the war. Just then, the Ishikawa soldiers spotted Hayakimaru, and Daigo told his men that he was the demon threatening their village. As Hayakimaru noticed one of the soldiers who slayed Mio and the orphans, he grew angry at the memory, and was ready to annihilate them all. However, Dororo managed to hold him back, and eventually calmed him. Right then, Tahamaru arrived, and told him that he was his younger brother, and that their father really offered him as a sacrifice for the village. However, he thought it was the right thing to do, and said that breaking the seal with the demons would ruin their village. To stop this from happening, he said Hayakimaru was now a demon in their land, and must be annihilated immediately. So he drew his sword, and decided to attack him. But Dororo thought this must be a very bad dream, and hurried to rescue Sukeroku. At the same time, the brothers began clashing swords, but as Dororo tried freeing the boy, they realized that the spirit foxes were returning, so she tried biting off the ropes. As the spirits merged into a 10-tailed fox, Sukeroku tried telling Dororo to run away, but she screamed for Hayakimaru's help. Immediately, he sliced Tahamaru's face, and running towards the demon, he slashed it over 1,000 times until it smashed onto the wall. At that moment, Mina arrived, revealing the broken statue of the Goddess of Mercy. As she began asking for Hayakimaru's forgiveness, she told him that she could not save him, and said that the entire village depends on his devoured body parts. However, she thought she could offer herself up instead, and isekai'd herself before they knew it. At that moment, a glowing light appeared on the wall, and as it began to crumble, they all ran away from the site. Later at the crash site, Dororo wondered where they would go next, but Sukeroku's family appeared on the mountains, and he discovered they were still alive after all. So having no more business in the village, the companions began to leave, hoping to never return. However, as the weeks passed, Hayakimaru continued to remember his mother and couldn't even sleep at night. When Dororo asked what he was worried about, he told her that he wants to kill every single demon in the world, and began to leave, so she ran after him. On the road, as she tried telling him to get some rest, thinking he's probably been pushing himself too hard, he bumped into her and continued walking away. A few days later, as they crossed a bridge towards another village, Dororo told Hayakimaru that there's a hot spring nearby, and suggested that they soak in it. However, when she realized that Hayakimaru was only determined to hunt for monsters, she screamed that a monster was spotted close to the spring, successfully bringing him to a halt. Meanwhile, in Daigo's village, it had begun to rain again, and Daigo was relieved that the war was cancelled, but Mina was yet to regain consciousness. However, with the rain having returned, he thought it was a sign that the demons have not broken their seal, but wondered how much longer they would continue to back him up, seeing as Hayakimaru would not stop until they were all dead. Before long, they soaked in the water, and soon realized that even Muni was here, so he told them that they were probably destined to meet wherever they go. The following day, Dororo noticed a map that was carved on her back, and Muni said it was probably only obvious when her body was warmed up. Dororo remembered that her mother once revealed half of the map to her, and said that the map would lead her to her father's treasure. She had told her that she would figure out how to find it once she found someone she could trust, but Dororo never understood what her words meant, and revealed that she totally forgot about the treasure. Realizing her options, Muni decided to ask what she would do once Hayakimaru successfully reclaims all his body parts. He thought the treasure would come in handy, and said that she could even create her own territory, and could live a happy life forever. However, he thought Hayakimaru would probably not be in support of this, and wondered if reclaiming all his body parts would make him happy forever. Later that day, as they arrived at the forest, they noticed an ugly ghost, and Dororo hid herself away. However, Hayakimaru thought they weren't demons, and one of the ghosts vanished before their eyes. At that moment, the huge ghost began approaching Dororo, asking for a motherly hug. But the girl was terrified at the sight of it, and it fell on top of her, nearly crushing her. As she tried screaming for Hayakimaru's help, He merely ignored her, saying that it was not a demon. So the ghost began following them, holding Dororo like its own baby, and before long, they arrived at a ruined temple, so the ugly ghost directed Hyakimaru to a spot. As he checked the sand, he discovered it was oil, and Dororo said that the oil was probably burned down. At that moment, the big ghost held Dororo once again, calling her mother, but the poor girl was only desperate to go far away from it. Just then, it vanished, and a strange man appeared before them. He told them that the forest was haunted at night, and said that it was very dangerous for travelers. As he paid his last respects to the dead, he invited them to his home for the dinner, saying that he has no desire to see them become ghost meat. However, Dororo thought his eyes were creepy and hid herself away.